Hello and greetings from Iceland. This is a bit different Vulcan update since it includes a little travel story and a little drama. So we have plenty of ground to cover and actually more ground than my Land Cruiser has been willing to do recently. And we start with the obvious fact that volcanic eruption number 12 on the Reykjanes Peninsula is over and ground uplift has started again. And the ground uplift curve was actually for a while just as steep as it used to be shortly after the other eruptions. But the last data points, they are indicating a little hesitation, although it's too early to say what it means, if it means anything. And if we won't see any drastic changes, the next eruption might take place in December, perhaps even sooner. My main point of interest has, however, been gradually moving to the lake, Klefarvatn, and I'm not even sure if the Reykjanes Peninsula will be the biggest geology news of the year 2025. The systems there are quite small actually, and only a tiny part of our volcanic island, and it's only this unfortunate location that got all this attention. And when I look at the earthquakes since January 1st this year, we have actually a nice storyboard there to work with. And this earthquake cluster by Lake Klefarvatn, it might be the most important part of this map now, or the earthquakes that the experts don't want to talk about. But I think they should, because this is a part of the huge Krýsuvík volcanic system that runs through the city, and we have other systems there as well. And in last week we were hit with 2 earthquakes over magnitude 3 with only seconds apart in the so-called Sulphur Mountain system that is due for a magnitude 6 plus near the city. And the last earthquakes there, they were good enough reason for me to do a little tour up there just a few days ago. And I believe that our experts are right when they say that when one system on the Reykjanes Peninsula wakes up, the others will follow. And I was also using the tour up there to fill in some gaps or to get clips that I need for a video about the volcanoes around the city, which is a project that I've had on my list for a long time. But this ongoing story by Grindavík, it kept on interrupting me as the story about those volcanoes kept on changing. And this clip is a little part of that video. This is a sealed volcano close to Reykjavík. I was filming it now for the second time, since after I looked at the clips from the first trip, they only provided me with more questions than answers. And this strange looking volcano was nothing but problems when it came to information sourcing, which is a bit odd because it's just by our doorsteps, by the city, and it is also a part of the Krýsuvík volcanic system that some experts claim to have woken up already. So this is one of the reasons why I haven't finished this video about the volcanoes around the city. We have plenty of them, and each with its own story. So I'm hoping to find time for this project when I'm done filming the summer footage, as the summer is almost over, like we felt last night when the temperature dropped below 0. And that means that the colors will start to change very soon. And this last tour of mine, it was actually a repair tour, not a volcano tour. And I could easily make a long and sarcastic video about that alone, or my Toyota Land Cruiser that finally made it through the annual inspection after 3 attempts, where they kept on finding more problems to fix. And it surely didn't help that during those 18 months I've had it, I have driven it over 40,000 kilometers, in many cases on some of the worst roads in Iceland, where it carried all my stuff that costs more than the car over countless rivers and other obstacles, So it's not as this old fellow got an easy task with me, but it never failed me, never stopped in the wilderness, leaving me stranded. Not until it was time to replace the turbo. But despite of that, it was working fine until it was replaced. Then it stopped working properly, and that's when we got a volcanic eruption. And I got stuck in the north while the best show was going on. And my mechanic tried at first to sell me the idea that I had a faulty part, and I was already interrupting the eBay seller with complaints when I got the feeling that the problem might be a faulty mechanic. So after some pressure, he did some tests, and it turned out that I was right. And he had no idea how to fix a turbo overboosting. And many, many phone numbers later, I found only one shop in North Iceland that seemed to know about this problem and was ready to fix it. But they wanted to reserve a whole day for the job, which got me suspicious. So my next move was to place the car for sale here in the north, although I knew it would be a bad deal in this condition, but I just needed to do some trade and get back on the road. And one of the replies I got from the ad was a little surprise. It was a guy saying that I know exactly what is wrong and I can fix it tonight for a fixed price. And I somehow got the feeling that this guy knew what he was doing, but there was only one problem left. He was in Reykjavik, 400 kilometers away. And I had a car with a diesel engine that was not willing to run on more than 1800 RPMs in order to keep the turbo from overboosting and go into safe mode. So I did a little practice. I drove the car up on a mountain by the town, very slow, and did some calculations that revealed that if I would drive to Reykjavik during night time when it's no traffic at all, I would be able to drive over those 3 mountains on the way very, very slowly. And that is what I did. And I will never, ever do it again. It took me the whole night, but the city greeted me kindly. And after a little nap, I decided to go filming for my video about the volcanoes around the city. This turned out to be a beautiful day and a beautiful evening. And while the Land Cruiser specialist was working on my car, I went on a little walk with my drone. And lucky me, he called me earlier than I expected, after he fixed this very dull problem. But he did a good inspection on it as well, so I need the new fuel injectors, and I would gladly like to spend that money on a new lens, rather than one more trip to the shop. But what I have is at least a fully working automobile that can do the most important Highland tour of the year, and that will be very soon. The last days and weeks, they burned up a bit too much energy for myself. My own turbo was a bit busy for a while. So after this repair, I drove back north, the home of the worst mechanics in the world, where no car should fail. And now I'm just waiting for the weather forecast to be in my favor, so I can decide what filming locations I can get off my list first. And when I'm not going after such direct targets, I will just be following my instinct. I will be chasing the light, literally, and hoping to get lucky from time to time. And I usually am. It was just a bit of a disappointment to see a large portion of our short summer end up like it did due to volcano mist, weather and car troubles. Especially since I've invested a lot in camera gear the last year and never been as well equipped before, but I didn't upgrade the car, and we can't have it all. But I am, however, working on plans for the channel now to make this operation called Just Icelandic a bit more than it is today. And many of those ideas come from my viewers, so I know you will be glad to hear what I have in store for you. And since I will be moving on the road, I'm not sure how my upload schedule will be. I have a feeling that I will need to do some updates sooner than later, and I will of course do so in between those tours I will be doing. And maybe even a little bit more, since I've been filming a few 360 drone circles, which may not be a hot topic as such, but they will be very helpful and supportive to other videos I'm working on. And as for the next 2 weeks, it's all about to squeeze every bit of summer color out there into my camera sensors. And I want to thank my channel supporters for making this possible. It has not been simple or easy to get the channel where it is today, but I have a certain vision that I'm following, and that vision has to do with production quality and creative freedom for me, and to see to it that this job of mine will by time make this into some kind of sustainable business. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from the volcano island, Iceland.